What's going on, Yu-Gi-Oh community? White Joe Paladin back here with another vlog video, and I am running a little bit late. I'm getting ready, so a little quick introduction. That's why I'm holding the camera. Today I am excited because we are going to be going to Paladins, and we will be going with Danny. Not only that, but I am going to be playing like a new hero build with the new Neo-Spatian support from Power of the Elements. Something that I kind of wanted to test out was probably doing like a little engine in there, so I included 9 cards in there, with 3 of engaged Neo-Spaces, a Spirit of Neos, and Elemental Hero Neos, a Neo-Spatian Air Hummingbird, and Aqua Dolphin, just in case if I go into time, maybe I can actually do some life point manipulation there. We also have a Favorite Contact and Instant Contact, and added another Polymerization, and we are running some Cross Keepers. And now, this is kind of like a small engine that I wanted to try out to try to turbo out your Shining Neos Wingman. There is a combo I found out we could do that just uses a engage Neo-Space with a either Shadow Mist or a Neo-Space in your hand, but Shadow Mist has to go to your graveyard. So I am very excited to see how well it does, and just take it from there. So let's go ahead and head over there. So I am back here at home. The tournament already ended, and unfortunately I was not able to record in between the matches because literally all of my matches went into like very close to time. My first game, actually my first round, did result with time, and the other ones, there was just not enough time for me to talk in between the rounds. So I'm going to be talking about my matchups and discussing some things as it happened. But I did record some footage, so here you go. We did go into round 1 against Sprite. Now, I was expected to play against this deck because I felt like a lot of people would probably want to build this deck after the premiere event. So here it is, Sprite. We are playing against it, and my opponent is setting up his board. He's going off a little bit here, having to set up during the end of his turn. He does have the Sprite Elf as well as a Totally Awesome, and I believe he has Sprite Red. I think it's the one that negates monster effects. So he sets those up, and I think he has a starter on his field. And in his graveyard, he has, like, I think the Swap Frog or something. I actually don't really remember. But when it became my turn, I activated a Hero List, pay half my life points, summon out the Stratos, and I believe it got ashed. I don't think I searched anything, unfortunately. Or maybe I did. I really can't remember, actually. But yeah, the only really, like, thing I could do was send, like, Crosskeeper from my hand to the graveyard to special summon Elemental Hero Neos because he didn't negate any of that stuff. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna summon out this and just go and attack. He's Totally Awesome, which I do. I destroyed that card, and yeah, that was like the only kind of funniest thing that I did there. And I believe I had like Malicious in my graveyard, and I set up some stuff that was in my graveyard that became more relevant because I actually had Favorite Contact sat. So during my opponent's turn, I activated Favorite Contact to summon out my DPE. But to be honest, like, a lot of the stuff really didn't really help too much because by the end of it, my opponent was able to defeat me for game 1 by actually taking my Elemental Hero Neos with Tactical Talents, and he had Sprite Smashers. Actually, that was the one that I had, and I believe he banished my DPE. I can't remember exactly, but I think he banished it, and it just left my field completely vulnerable, and I just lost. So he got game 1. Now for game 2, it was actually kind of decent. I was trying to go off with my plays here. My opponent did negate some stuff, and I was able to just beat down to attack. He just had hand traps. He didn't have like a board setup because when it came my turn, I was trying to set up some plays. He negated it. I passed, and then he said pass on his turn. He had nothing, so I was just able to just beat down during the second turn where I just had Stratos, and I believe I summoned out Stratos by ditching a Crosskeeper, and I special summoned Stratos from my hand to search out an Honest Neos, and I was just able to attack him and OTK for game, and that gave me round 2. Then when it went to round 3, round 3 was kind of interesting, mostly because by the end of it, my opponent ended up beating me by 300 life points, and I think that was pretty unfortunate, and I just, like, you know, I really couldn't do so much from that because I ended up losing to time. Our time got called, and I lost by 300 life points. I felt like if we went for another round, I think if we went for another turn, I would have probably won because I had a Elemental Hero Stratos, and whether I searched or not, I think I could just attack, and if he didn't have anything, I think I could have put a little bit of damage, like 500 points of damage there, and I think that would have at least got me the win by like 100 life points. But that's unfortunate. Time does happen like that, and there's nothing I can do about it. So it is what it is, but no complaints here. I was able to go get Sprite, which is actually ideally what I want because I want to know what are their board setups going to be. I have seen what their boards can do. I want to know how to counter them, and I want to figure out what cards I need to get. Deck Devastation Virus is actually looking pretty good, so I might try to order some of those by the end of tonight, and I don't know. It was an interesting matchup nonetheless, but again, I felt like if we had one more turn, maybe we could have pressed for damage and could have got the win. I'm not sure. We'll never know because these time rules, man. I'm not a fan. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not. But hey, it is what it is. But anyways, we got 0-1 for round 1. For round 2, I went against PK Fire, and it was a very good match, mostly because I was able to utilize that Neo's package engine that I was talking about. Now, earlier I mentioned that I wanted to use such cards like Engage Neospace to send my Shadow Mist from my deck or my hand to the graveyard, and that's able to set up my combo that I really wanted to go into. And I did open up with instant contact, so that just helped out immensely right there. So what essentially did happen is that I set up my board. I'm going into my plays. I normal summon out the Vion after I search it with Shadow Mist, and I'm able to set up a board where I end with a DPE, a Sunrise, and I do have a set favorite contact to go into a Shiny Neos Wingman during my opponent's turn to pop 2 of their cards. So when my opponent goes, unfortunately, I'm a little bit like, I should have thought a little bit more here because I did mess up. I destroyed some of his card preemptively, and that kind of, I really should have waited. I should have took my time to see his board setup, because after I used DP's effect to destroy his Cherubini, it left me with no dark monster on my field. So when I do summon out the Shining Neos Wingman, I only have light monsters on my field because Sunrise is a light monster. So that means I can only pop one other card on their field. And then he goes into the Phantom Knight Break Sword, and then that's kind of where I activated it. I don't know why I did it, because I just like, I could have done a little bit more. If I had DPE out still in the field, I could have just popped 2 of the cards instead of just 1, but that seemed like the best time to do it. I don't know why. And then just from there, my opponent's just trying to still set up a board. He goes to the Rusty Bardiche, he does some other plays. He was trying to go in, make into a Boral Sword Dragon play. However, when he was going through his plays, he realized he is not able to do it. He does not have enough resources to do it. And he kind of put me in a really good position there, and I was just able to do some more damage on the next turn. But yeah, there was just some like I could have done a little bit more had I been a little bit more strategic and thinking about how I'm gonna destroy some of his cards. So next time, if I do play this deck still, I will be a little bit more strategic with it. If I do this combo, I'm sorry, a little bit. If I did the combo a little bit more later in the matchup, I would be a little bit more strategic. But then anyways, I got the win for game 1. So for game 2, my opponent's going first. He sets up an Apollosa and a Rusty Bardiche, and I have the Lava Golem, so I was able to tribute over his monsters to summon out those. And I tried to go into some plays of mine. I believe I had DPE and Sunrise on my field, and when I tried to attack, my opponent activates Forbidden Droplets, and that destroys my DPE. Unfortunately, but you know, I did not see that coming whatsoever. And then my opponent just has some plays, and then we're just kind of going back and forth just a little bit. Now, I did have Rivalry Warlord set, but unfortunately, my opponent activated his Phantom Knight cards during the end phase of the turn I set it. So if I was able to activate it during his turn, he would have been locked into, I believe, is it Fiends or Pyro? I don't remember actually what Lava Golem is, so maybe it didn't even matter. I think it's probably a Fiend. But, oh, well, yeah, if it's a Fiend, they can only go into Warriors because Phantom Knights are Warriors. But anyways, doesn't matter. I ended up getting that game, and it was fun. It was a fun matchup, mostly because during game 1, I was able to do that little combo that I really wanted to go into. And I do apologize for the camera setup. I didn't realize like it was cut off from my graveyard, so you really couldn't see like all the cards I'm sending to the graveyard or anything like that. I really do apologize for that. I'll do a lot better for the next video. But I was just happy. This is actually the board combo that I really wanted to go into when I send a Shadow Mist to the graveyard, because Shadow Mist is more viable if you send it to the graveyard because you get to search out your Vion. And I normal summon Vion, and I send Malicious, and I'm just able to set up a DPE, a Sunrise, and during my opponent's turn, I can summon out a Shiny Neos Wingman, and it only takes about 2 cards to do it, and yeah, I'm happy about it, and it just made, it was actually a lot easier actually for this one, because I was able to, actually maybe take a little bit more than 2 cards, because I forgot I had the contact already in my hand, and then I added favorite contact from my deck to my hand because of Spirit of Neos, but yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, we got round 2, so that puts our record at 1-1, and yeah, feeling pretty good. Going into round 3, I play against the mirror match, Hero versus Heroes, and my opponent goes first. He's setting up his board. He's going into the usual hero plays. However, he ends with a Destiny Hero Plasma, which completely shuts down all my monster effects, and I have absolutely nothing in my hand to get over that. very unfortunate, and I just like, yeah, my monster effects are negated. And the only thing I really could do during my turn, he did have a DP as well. He activated the effect of DP, destroy my cards. I did use a hero lives, and what I just ended up doing was summoning out Absolute Zero to ram into his monster. I destroyed his monster. That was really like the only way I could get rid of that card. And I do have an Absolute Zero, but it really did not matter whatsoever because my opponent was able to DPE it during the next turn before he even starts his plays. So during the same phase, he brings it back out. I believe during his main phase, he activates his effect to destroy DPE and my Absolute Zero. So Absolute Zero won't destroy all of his other monsters. And he was able to go into the Liquid Soldier, bringing out Shadow Mist, using Shadow Mist, getting out the Mass Change. I believe he linked those two into Cross Crusader, and then he brought back the DPE, and he just attacked me for game because my life points were already had because of a hero lives. Now for game 2, I did a little bit better on that one. I was just trying to set up some kind of board. The play here, I had like a DPE, I had a Malicious, I really don't remember what my board was set up like really right there, but what ended up happening was that I did have a super polarization set. I believe I had I can't remember what else I had set, but when it became my opponent's turn, he activated super polymerization to use my DPE and another hero card. I can't remember what it was, and he summoned out his own DPE. And what was more hilarious is that I activated my own super polymerization, fusing his DPE with my Malicious and going into the Destiny hero Dystopia and burning him for 1100 points of damage with the Denier in my graveyard. I thought that was pretty hilarious. It was like a back and forth. Super polymerization is just like completely deadly against the hero matchup because whoever has it and who has the best fusion materials, I think, like, I was just like waiting, like, okay, which one of us is gonna have the Trinity? But no, that never ended up happening. But it was kind of just a funny back and forth. Even Danny had a little bit of laugh because he was sitting next to us, and yeah, it was a very fun interaction right there. But anyways, yeah, I just proceeded to go and attack for game. I ended up getting most of the damage in there during my next turn, and I just set up so much damage that I was just able to attack. And I believe I had Honest Neos in my hand too, so I definitely did the OTK play. Now during my opponent's turn, he's setting up. He has some cards. But the board really didn't quite matter too much to me because I was able to get over his cards with a Lava Golem. Now with Lava Golem, I'm locked into, I cannot do my normal summoner set, so I do have a hero lives, which is just like perfect combo right there, because a perfect combination, I should say, sorry, that I have a hero lives and Lava Golem, so I don't have to really worry about not normal summoning my Stratos, and I just saw that quite a lot. So I attributed his monsters, I summoned out my Stratos, and I'm trying to go into OTK kind of play. Unfortunately, my opponent has super polymerization, and then he fuses into Elemental Hero, the Shining, and I'm just like, yeah, there was a time where I did mess up. I think I searched the wrong Neos card because after I summoned out Spirit of Neos by using Cross Keeper's hand effect by sending it to the graveyard to summon out my Spirit of Neos, I think I searched the wrong card. I think I should have searched out Favor Contact because I could have Miracle Fusion them out to summon out the Shining Neos Wingman. And at the very least, because I could banish from my field, no problem, and I would have at least 2 attributes to destroy, and well, maybe not, because I think my opponent would just super poly those away. So yeah, actually, it did not matter. Did not matter whatsoever, and just for goofs, I summoned out another Lava Golem to his field. Just cause. I was already at half life points. I was going to lose next turn. It did not work out for me, and he always beats me now. Wow, I just need like, it's going to be a hero showdown until I actually get a win from him. It's pretty hilarious though. But yeah, super polymerization was just a funny interaction throughout that game. And it's really deadly against the hero matchup. Maybe next time I'll put in like Hero Adoration or Trinity and using all of his hero monsters just to be like, yeah, this was just for you. But no, it was a fun game. But that brought my record down to 1-2. And we did have a 4th round. And I'm feeling like maybe these Neos cards were just not the right decision for this tournament.
Droplet, yeah. But Village Droplet is really good.
So I said make it a case and make it I'm trying to get it.
I also assigned this.
I got it. I'm trying to make elemental heroes, so I guess I'll just use this card too. Oh, true.
It is a great card, but it's not very good when you answer it and just
Sorry, the lighting has changed here. I had to go do something, and then when I came back, it's already nighttime, so that explains the lighting. But we're here to talk about round 4, and I played against Earth Machines that utilized a Burnanalyzer strategy. I don't know what the TCG name exclusive is. I'm still used to the OCG names. But my first opening hand just did not do well for me. All I really ended up with was an Elemental Hero Sunrise and a Neospatial Air Hummingbird, because I figured, what the hell, let's gain 2,500 life points because it's the very first turn of the duel. And my opponent was just like going off. He had the cards in his hand. He normal summoned a Machina monster to get a search, or like he picks 3 randoms and then I pick one of them to add to his hand. And then he used some Vernalizer cards, and then he would special summon out the Therion Regulus, and he had another Regulus in his hand to summon normally. And he used Dark Ruler No More on me for some reason. I guess he might have thought Sunriser would have been able to pop one of his cards, but that is not true. It has to battle another hero monster on my field. But it didn't matter because by my next turn, I just ended up scooping because I actually had no cards to play. And I was like, yeah, we're done here. So then during game 2, my opponent is going first. He's setting up a little board, nothing really too extravagant there, but he does set a Gozen match. And then when it became my turn, I normal summon out my Stratos and I tempted effect. I tried to search out my Ferris, and then he activates Gozen match. And then there I chain my Mass Change to change it into Mass Hero Blast. And Mass Hero Blast is actually really cool here because I was able to use its effect to bounce his Gozen match back to his hand, and that allowed me to open up the board to go into the Ferris plays and the usual plays. And I was going through with the whole combos of heroes. Unfortunately, my opponent had the Nibiru, but it wasn't all terrible because I was still able to process more of a field that I used because I had not used my Sunrise yet. I had not gone into my Sunrise. I didn't get my Miracle Fusion yet. So I still had some plays that I could have done, and I was actually able to push through a little bit more going into the Sunrise. And I believe I did have, I think it was either, I think I might have had Absolute Zero, or I had another monster or Cross Crusade or something. I really can't remember what else I had, but I was just able to attack and then use Sunrise's effect to pop his Nibiru, and I was just able to attack. And then when it became his turn, he ended up scooping that game. And then when we went into round 3, I went first. I was setting up my normal hero plays, and I took out my Neospatian cards, so that was able to see more of my going second cards and setting up like the super polymerizations and everything like that. And I did set up my boards, and I did have like my DPE, and I did have Sunriser. I believe I had Cross Crusader on my field. And when my opponent was going, he was trying to go off here and there, and he was trying to set up some cards here, but ultimately I ended up getting game 3 because of super polymerization. I was able to fuse out his monsters into Garuda. That card is just amazing on certain matchups like this, and because of that, he ended up scooping it, and I ended up getting the win, which is fantastic. That got me my score of 2-2 for the day. And I mean, I'm not complaining. I am definitely not complaining with that. And I did have a lot of fun with it, the deck that I took today, but I just did not like really love it, So next week I am going to be changing the deck back to a more competitive style build, where I'm going to be actually adding in some things like maybe Rivalry of Warlords and take out the Evil Hero package for good and utilize more of the warrior type builds. And then I'll be main decking Dark Ruler No More, super polymerization because of Garuda. And we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm going to keep the Cross Keepers. I might try to put them in there, but I'm going back and forth between those two. And also what we did, me and Danny, after the tournament, was that we actually went to go eat some food, and then we had a match of our own, and we were actually playing for like an hour. That match took like an hour. We were just like really thinking our strategies through and just playing it like for fun, There was no time, there was nothing of that crap, and we were just playing game 3 all the way through, and I lost. Yeah, I lost that one. Thank God it wasn't a regular tournament, which we still have not done yet. I hope we do that, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how the whole point system kind of works over there. I think you just, as long as I think you get like 2 wins each, and then I think you can play each other, or Danny's, starting off a little bit later. I've been playing for a while. I don't know if there's like any kind of different point systems with that, but it would be awesome if we get to play each other in an actual tournament match, But yeah, that was for this video. I'm definitely going to make some changes. While the deck was fun, it definitely wasn't for me, and I'm going to be changing it. I really don't want to go with the whole Neospatian solo deck. I did order a lot of cards, but they didn't come in yet, and I don't know what happened to them. So I just ran with the cards I had available to me. And I thought it was okay just to run that little bit of an engine, but like I said, it only worked out for round 2, and it was only for the first game. Afterwards, I just sided out all 9 of those cards, and then I just had like room for 9 cards to fill in there with those side deck cards. So that's what I think I'm going to be changing it into, with those side cards, and probably main decking them instead. And now I got like 9 extra slots on my side deck, so I'll probably pick up cards like the Deck Devastation Virus, where it's going to be a lot more lethal against Sprite, and I don't know what else I could put. Maybe a Chaos Hunter in there, because a lot of my players tend to banish cards, and maybe that'll be like an upper edge. I think I have 2 of those, so maybe I'm gonna add those in and maybe try to order the 3rd one. It ends up doing well, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you did enjoy it. Please hit the like button if you did. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're updated when the next video does drop. And yeah, I am excited for what is to come. There is going to be a regionals in a couple of weeks, and I don't know if I'm going to go to that yet because it was last minute in a way because I completely forgot about it happening, and I'm still undecided if I want to go. Who am I going to tag along with? Maybe I'll ask Danny, but I don't know. I mean, you know, he's still kind of like newer to the game. He doesn't know all the mechanics and all these new formats that have just happened now with Sprite and Tier Limit. You know, there's a lot to process to go through, and it's just like, you know, might need some more training, you know, for all of, because I still haven't played against Tier Limit, so I don't even know how to go against that yet. So I'm undecided, but I mean, if we do go, that's cool. But if not, no worries. You know, it's not like, you know, it's not like the YCS where I hope I can go later this year. But yeah, well, I'm still gonna do these vlog videos. So I will see you guys next week's vlog video. And thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video.